Hello, this is Mark Dombrowski with True Resolve Tax Professionals coming to you live from the Grotto of the Agony. I thought it appropriate. This new green screen that I got, they tell me I gotta have a green screen, gotta have a green screen studio, blah, blah, blah. I might go back to my office setting, which I much prefer, but hey, your reactions to this video will help me determine what I should be doing. This is a do-it-yourself video on the form 433D as in David. That's the IRS form where you're going to request an installment agreement. Most likely you should be using this one specifically for an installment agreement that has your banking information to have it direct debited out of your account. So let's just get right on into that form, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen. You won't have to look at me or my Grotto of Agony. So here we go. This is the 433D. Now, it was just revised. This is July 2020 that this is revised. I think you guys can actually see my little cursor also. I started filling in some of this just so you have it, but we've got John and Patricia Iowa lots on Main Street in Debtorsville, USA. Of course, you're going to put city, state, and there. You're going to make sure that if both of you owe the tax, that you put in both of your names and both your social security numbers. Whether you use this top line to say John owe a lots and then the next line for Patricia owe a lots, that's really up to you. As long as the IRS employee who is reviewing this form can easily identify you, your current address, and your social security numbers. I was just reviewing one for a client, a potential client, who asked me to take a look at it for them, and the person hadn't put in their whole social security number. They only put in 8 digits instead of 9 digits, so the IRS had returned it to them because they couldn't identify the taxpayer. When I do one of these 433Ds, I do not put in any phone numbers of the taxpayer because I want the IRS as power of attorney to be calling me, not the taxpayer. If you guys, if you're doing this on your own, so do-it-yourself video, you want to have a cell phone or a phone number nowadays. Who has a home phone number? You want to put that number in there. Notice they don't have any email addresses because the IRS doesn't email anybody. It's starting a little bit now, but for the most part, for security concerns, they will not let you email them. Kinds of taxes, 1040 generally is the type of taxes that you're going to owe. 1040 encompasses everything, whether it's going to be a shared responsibility payment, like individuals who didn't have health insurance and it was a penalty. You're just going to say 1040. Tax periods, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You don't have to put 1231, 1231. You just put in the years. And again, if you skip around, if you screw it up, the IRS is going to correct it. They're going to look and say, oh, they don't owe 18, so we're not going to put 18 on there. Don't worry if you screw up certain parts of this form. Specifically, the next section, which is how much you owe. You're going to put a guess number in here. I don't know how many clients know what they owe. I'm a professional, so I have this information. I can put it in as of September 1st of a certain year, how much approximately a client owes. They just want to know, is this $10,000, $85,000, $850,000? How much is it basically the taxpayer owes? When they look up your accounts, they're going to know exactly how much you owe. You're just going to put a guesstimate number. I had a client, again, a potential client, who got so hung up that they couldn't find out the amount that they specifically owed. Don't overthink it. Just put that in there. Next section here, we agree to pay federal taxes shown above plus P&I provided by law in the amount of, I just wrote up a number that was good for $85,000. You're basically going to be shooting for a number. Here's the key, guys. If you owe less than 50 grand, it's going to be 72 months. If you owe from 50 grand up until 250,000, you divide the number by 84. So again, if you owed $85,000, you would simply divide that number by 84. Obviously, you're coming up with a grand, somewhere around there. I put 850 just to be a wise guy. You're going to be paying $850 a month on the. You want to stay away from the 1st, the 15th, and the last day of the month, simply because the IRS right now is they'd asked us as professionals to stop doing those dates because they're so bogged down with payments on the 1st, the 15th, and the end of the month. So I picked a day, the 21st. I tell clients to do the 21st because they're going to be mailing it on the 15th if the client remembers the halfway through the month, indicating that they're going to give themselves about 6 days mailing time. It takes the IRS a good 3 weeks to post the payment anyway, so that's kind of loosey-goosey in that system. And then you start filling in, and $8.50 a month on the 21st of each month thereafter. Again, if you screw this up, all the IRS wants to see is how much per month on the day of the month. That's this whole section. Ignore this increase or decrease amount unless there's something going on. I had a client call me, a fellow professional call me and ask, could they have their client do it $50 a month? And it was, the guy only owed like $7,000, $50 a month, and then increase it to $150 a month. And I said, as long as you meet within the 72 months, remember the guy's below 25,000, so you want to hit that 72 months, you can put that in here. It's called a stepped payment plan with the IRS. Date of increase, you're going to say, okay, on February 5th or 21st, and the following year, amount of increase $100. So new installment agreement would be $150. If again, this was $50 up here, paying $50 on the 21st for those first 5-6 months. Huge important thing of this form, it must be initialed over here, okay? Whether you put both of your initials in there, husband, spouse, spouse and spouse, husband, wife, whatever you want to call it, you can do that. Just one initials in there is fine. The major things for this is that the client IRS is able to identify the taxpayer, the names, the periods, the amount you want to pay every month you're proposing to pay, the date of the month, initial here. Signing down here is massively important. Okay, I'm going to go back. I digress. Initial here. Those are banking laws. Those aren't actually federal laws. Those are state banking laws. Don't worry about this additional conditions because it's supposed to be filled in by the IRS anyways. Routing number and account number are very important that they're legible. You can download this form, as I did for this presentation, off of the internet. And you can use a self-filling in thing. Just make sure when you print it, it actually prints that you self-filled in. You put in your routing number of the banking information and the account number. Obviously, you want to double check it, put all the zeros in, make sure you're not screwing it up because a lot of people, you got to look at a check. You don't have to put in a voided check with this. You can if you want. You can attach a voided check if you wanted to. That helps. But you're going to want to make sure that they can easily read this. If you're a guy and your handwriting is poor, like mine, you want to type this thing and print it out. Ignore, this is brand new. This is what they changed. This form, as I showed you before, July of 2020, brand new form. Ignore this whole thing right here. It's just a ridiculous thing. It's contrary to why you're doing it. So just ignore this thing. Sign it, date it. You're obviously not a title, you're just a person. Spouse's signature, date it. The bottom of this is all for the IRS to do. And that's basically it. You're going to mail this form. I'm going to scroll to the instructions. Well, this is the important part, so it's not really all of it. You're going to mail this form where you file your income tax returns. That you got to look online yourself and see, where do I file a 1040? You know, whether it's going to be Ogden, whether it's going to be Kansas City, there's Jacksonville, there's various filing centers based on where you live in the United States. Then terms of the agreement. Any installment agreement based on is going to be based on, until you full pay it, the rules are you got to make each payment by the scheduled date. Okay? While this agreement is in effect, you must file and pay all your taxes. That's a huge thing. When you agree to pay the IRS for the money that you owe for 14 through 18, you don't want to file 19 or 20 and owe any money. You can owe money, just pay it. Please see our, that's the end of the video. You can reach us here at 716-634-6200. or 720-519. Actually, I'm going to do this. I apologize. That's 720-319-8954. Again, 720-319-8954. Operators are standing by. You can also email me at Mark with a C, M-A-R-C, marktrueresolvetax@gmail. That's 24 hours a day. Mark with a C, no dots, no spaces, marktrueresolvetax@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a very good day, everybody.